All right, let's jump right in. We're about to unpack a book that's, get this, 2,500 years old, Sun Tzu's The Art of War. Now, this text has shaped the minds of generals, CEOs, you name it, for centuries. So, what is it that makes it so unbelievably powerful even today?
I mean, that's the real question, isn't it? How on earth can advice from an ancient battlefield have anything to do with your career, or a negotiation, or, just your personal goals? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple, and it's really the core of what we're talking about here. See, that's the secret. Sun Tzu wasn't just writing a playbook for clashing armies, he was creating a masterclass in how to think strategically. It's all about understanding how conflict and competition work, and then figuring out how to navigate them to get what you want in the smartest way possible. So where does good strategy even begin? According to Sun Tzu, it starts way before you make your first move. The most critical part of any challenge is the prep work. Honestly, victory and defeat are usually decided before the game even starts.
Okay, this slide is really interesting because it shows you how Sun Tzu breaks down all that preparation into 5 key areas. Think about it like you're launching a new business. The moral law, that's whether your team actually believes in the mission. Heaven, that's all about timing, right? Are you launching into a hot market or a dead one? Earth is your battlefield, the competitive landscape. The commander, well, that's the leader, the CEO's vision. And discipline is just how well your operation runs. Sun Tzu's point is, if you can be brutally honest about these 5 things, you can basically predict whether you're going to win or lose.
And this quote just nails that point home. Winning isn't about getting lucky. It's the direct result of serious planning and understanding every single variable you can. The person who's done all that homework beforehand has already stacked the deck in their favor. It's almost unfair. All right, let's get into the next big idea, and trust me, this one is a game changer. Once you've done your planning, the actual execution isn't about who's stronger. It's a mind game. As Sun Tzu famously said, all warfare is based on deception.
So the whole goal here is to control what your opponent thinks is reality. You want them to completely misjudge your strength, what you're planning, even where you are. For instance, if you look weak when you're actually strong, you might bait them into making a foolish move that you're totally ready for.
And this is that principle in action. It's about sowing confusion, making your opponent second-guess everything, and forcing them to make huge mistakes based on bad information. You're not just moving pieces on a board, you're playing with your opponent's mind. And here are some of those exact tactics. You could pretend your team is in total chaos, just to lure the other side into a trap. Or you pretend you're weak, let them get arrogant and sloppy. Then, bam, you attack exactly where they aren't looking. It's all about creating and then exploiting those little psychological openings. Now, this brings us to what is maybe the highest level of Sun Tzu's whole philosophy. If deception is the tool, then what's the ultimate goal? It isn't just to win. It's to win in the most brilliant, efficient way possible, to get the victory with the least amount of fighting and cost. I mean, just think about that for a second. The greatest win you can possibly have is one where you never even had to throw a punch. You've outthought, outplanned, and outmaneuvered your opponent so completely that they just give up. That is true strategic mastery.
This chart lays it all out perfectly. The absolute best thing you can do is to stop your rival's plan before it even gets started. Think about a company buying a competitor right before they release a killer product. The absolute worst strategy? A direct head-on attack, like starting a price war you can't win. It's just messy and expensive. The goal is always to move up that ladder to smarter, cleaner solutions.
So at the end of the day, the real triumph is when you achieve your goal, but your resources, your team, your money, your energy are all still intact, ready for the next thing. Winning the battle is great, but winning it without a scratch on you, that's excellence. But look, none of this incredible strategy means a thing if you don't have the right person in charge to actually pull it off. Sun Tzu puts a huge amount of weight on the character of the commander, or as we'd say, the leader.
What's so important to understand here is that these aren't just personality quirks. They're massive strategic vulnerabilities. A reckless leader, they can be easily baited into a dumb move. A leader who's a little too proud, they can be provoked by a simple insult into making a rash decision. A smart opponent will find and exploit every single one of these flaws. So on the flip side, what makes a leader great? It comes down to loyalty, and that's something you can't just demand. You have to earn it. When you treat your team with genuine care and respect, you build a group that's tough, resilient, and will stick with you through absolutely anything. So finally, Sun Tzu boils everything down into these 5 conditions that, if you meet them, pretty much guarantee you're going to win. 1. Know when to fight, and just as important, when not to. 2. Know how to manage your resources, big or small. 3. Have a team that is totally united in purpose. 4. Be prepared yourself while looking for an opponent who isn't. And 5. Have a capable leader who's trusted to make the call. When you've got all 5 of those aligned, you're in a perfect position to win. And here it is. This is probably the most famous, most powerful idea in the entire book. It's the ultimate summary of everything we've talked about. Strategy isn't some dark art. It's about deep, honest knowledge. It's about knowing your own strengths and weaknesses inside and out and having a crystal clear picture of your opponents. So as we wrap this up, the question really comes back to you. Whether it's a huge project at work, a tough negotiation, or a personal goal you're trying to hit, these principles apply. The art of war is really just the art of strategy. And the only question left is, how are you going to use it?